Okay, so the story from Madagascar 3, the video game, follows all four of the zany, wacky zoo animals from the movies. You got the hippo chick, you got the giraffe dude, you got the zebra guy, and then you got the lion thing. And they're all doing their zany, wacky things. They're telling jokes, they're being buddy buddy. In this game, to be honest, I I didn't really get a sense of a plot. I mean, there was things that happen. I guess it does follow what happens in the movie, environmentally wise and maybe character wise, but not plot wise. I mean, there would be times where you just have to go collect this thing, collect that thing, and then next scene you run away like in a very quick cutscene because someone's trying to chase you, and then you're in the circus. I'm like, okay, and I tried to pay attention. I really didn't get much of a plot here. So, from what I imagine, there really isn't much of a plot here, and if it does follow the movie, then the movie probably doesn't have a plot either. So I'm just gonna say the game's plot is not that great. I mean, the characters aren't fun to listen to, the dialogue is very poor, it's not funny, and yeah, I just didn't really care for the story. So you know what, let's go straight into the sound. Alright, now the sound. Voice acting wise, it's obviously not the cast from the movie, and it really shows because these impersonators are even more annoying than the regular actors from the actual movie. You know, Ben Stiller, Chris Rock, Jada Pinkett Smith, David Schwimmer, which I'm like, oh god, yeah, Sacha Baron Cohen, and a few other people. And I always thought those characters were annoying to listen to. Here, the impersonators are just so bad, and the dialogue is so unfunny and badly written that it's horrible to listen to, especially when the dialogue gets repeated over and over again sometimes. It's just so bad. It's like, I just don't want to hear it. And they have to have those subtitles that you always, even if you turn down your volume, you always have those in your face, and you're like, oh, that dialogue is so bad. But now the rest of the sound is not as bad. I mean, you got a forgettably cartoony soundtrack, and sound design that's obvious and has the jump noises and the boxes getting smashed and all that stuff, and it is repetitive, but it's not even close to as bad as the voice acting. I'd rather listen to a box getting smashed 500 times than freaking listen to these voice actors. So you know what? Overall, the sound is not good. Let's go into the graphics. Alright, so the graphics in Madagascar 30 game, I'll admit here, it's not a horrible looking game. It really isn't. I mean, the character models are decent, even though they're not even close to as good as the movies. I mean, all that fur texture on some of the characters and stuff is completely gone. But they still look good. They move nicely. The animations are decent, and the environments themselves are somewhat colorful. And it's, I don't know, it looks alright. And even some of the little effects here and there look alright. But my one major complaint with this game's graphics is the environments. Not because they look bad, I already said they look decent, but because how repetitive they look. And I don't mean repetitive as in they use the same environment over and over again. More like they'll use the same like building or texture or the same people or the same level design, but maybe add, I don't know, a different path or something. And it's so lazy. It really does. And the game isn't all that pretty too. So you'll just look at the same thing over and over again, and you'll be like, okay, it looks okay, but I keep seeing the same thing over and over again, and it's actually making me kind of bored, and it doesn't have any variety. And that's my major complaint with the graphics. Overall, it's an okay looking game, very average, but nothing amazing. Let's go on to the gameplay. Oh god, why do I play these games? Okay, the gameplay. Alright, so this is how the gameplay goes. You could pick from one out of the two characters that the game provides you with. Every level, they only let you pick from two of the four main characters for some reason. I don't know why. When you start off a level, you'll be in an environment, and one of the penguins or one of the freaking, I don't know, lemur guys tells you to go and get this item. And you have to go and get that item. Sometimes you have bonus items to get. So pretty much, to be honest, this entire game, at least for the most part, is an entire fetch quest mission, because you have to go and collect these items. Hey, go get this off the top of the roof. I don't know why it's there, just do it. And you have to go get it, find a way to get up there, use some platforms, use some of the special abilities from each of the characters. The hippo can, for some reason, balance on beams. I guess that makes sense. And then the lion has to jump over, which actually makes sense. And you have to use their abilities in different ways to go and get the items. But there has to be enemies, of course, right? Well, there are enemies, but the thing is that you don't have a melee button to fight off these enemies. The only thing you can do to fight off these enemies is never to alert them. You have to run past these like cop guys that actually catch animals, and you just have to run past them. So it's not a traditional beat 'em up. There is no real melee buttons for any of the characters. It's mostly go get this item, watch out for these cop guys. If they get you, you're screwed, start it over. That's pretty much the entire game, except of course, course, every game like this has to have one or two or about 1,400 mini games. And boy, does this game really like using its mini games, because to add variety to the game, they just throw these random mini games out of nowhere into the game. And there'll be times where you have to run away from a policeman or a policewoman in the game, and you have to like jump over boxes and just keep going. There'll be times where you have to collect a bunch of items that are scattered throughout the environment. You have to do it faster than your teammate can. And pretty much the rest of the mini games are all like, oh, press this button and then this button, or do this and balance around and try to collect all the items while you dodge things. And it's so uninspired, it really is. It's such a badly designed game, and it's not really all that fun, especially the platform segments. I actually found myself enjoying the mini games more, which I usually never do. So overall, Madagascar 3 is not a very good game at all. If you have a little kid and he has a 360 and you want him to play some, family-oriented games, then go play something else, to be honest. But if you have to and you can't find anything else, rent it. It's an okay time, but for the most part, it's a very bland game with bad platforming and okay mini games and just not much value. So rent it for them, if anything. So anyway, there you go. There's my review. Thank you and goodbye. Also, remember to follow me on Twitter and like my Gore the Movie Guide Facebook fan page. Links in the description. Thank you for watching this video, and goodbye.